All right. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, citizens of YouTube. I'm going through my videos right here, and somebody asked me to look at Pastor Joe Fox video on what would he do if Hillary is elected. And they asked me to comment based on what he has said. I can tell you right now, I've already watched the video, but I can even tell you prior to watching it that whatever he says, you should listen to. Pastor Fox is a wise man. He's a man of experience. And I think you should listen to what he says. Just like I think y'all listen to what I'm saying. Because unlike many people out there today in the world, most people, they do a lot of talking. But their lifestyle doesn't prove one bit that they actually believe what they're saying. You'll have a lot of people that tell you that you need to do this, you need to do that, you should do this, and you should do that. But when you really truly check out their life and you check them out real close, you'll find out that a lot of times these people are giving you a bunch of information, but they have not become actual doers themselves. So without actually adding anything to his video at all, everything that he has said, I think you ought to do. Now, I can give advice, and because there's really nothing to come behind, because all that he said is true, and I agree with it 100%. But I can give you advice in this area. Individuals in society today, the one reason why, or I can just say, let me say the many reasons why that people exercise complacency and apathy in their lives is because they have never, ever have learned to master their insecurities and their fears at any given moment, at any given time. Usually whenever these things present themselves, they come up as challenges within the mind rather than people actually paying attention to them and attacking them. They just simply live by them. And those insecurities and those fears have been ruling and dominating people's life, all of their lives. You know, I'll give you an example. When I first moved to this community, I had all kinds of thoughts. Even before moving to this community, when the thought even came up in my head and my mind, as I was reading the scriptures and determining what I need to do. And believe me, I had many things spiritually I had to wrestle and war and fight with. I mean, everybody has their own particular demons that they have to actually war and fight against. But you've got to learn how to silence the noise and all of the spiritual clutter and everything else that tries to remove your focus from something that is just so clear cut as the instructions that are sitting right in front of you. Because if you continue to keep following those voices without force or strength and breath in your life, you're going to find yourself 5 years, 10 years, 15, 20 years in the same place that you are today, which is nowhere. You're going to find that you'll never even know what it means to move by faith. And sometimes, you know, fear can be a good motivator to cause you to move by faith. I mean, that's after all, that's what Abraham did. But I would also echo the same sentiments as Pastor Fox says. You know, I'm not in the business of coming out here and then demonstrating to you over and over again how to do something when I've clearly done it already for you. When you can just look at our lifestyle, you can tell what each of us believe by what we're doing in our life. Pastor Fox, he doesn't need anybody to actually give him a sign of the times or the understanding. He has keen discernment. He has discernment and vision to be able to see afar off, and that's the reason why he's a pastor. Likewise here, you know, if you ever had opportunity to come to Straightway, you're looking at something that was a thought that entered into my mind, but it wouldn't materialize unless I became a doer. And that's the problem that we're having today. We can't get people to do. And I can tell you right now, you need to understand, everybody out there that's listening to me and will listen to this video, you're entitled to nothing, really. And this entitlement mentality to where you assume and you think that everything is going to be all right and everything is going to be fine is a very outlandish, ignorant, pessimistic perspective and point of view. I believe it's a bizarre behavior. And if I said it once, I said it 1,000 times. It is a bizarre behavior that is deeply and collectively and socially embedded in the subconscious mind of man. I think that it's a detriment to not only you yourself, but it's a detriment to your family. It's a detriment to your community. It's a detriment to the people who you love, if you have any that love you whatsoever at all. Because some of you are leaders. And if you are a strong leader with conviction, people will follow, because men don't follow titles, they follow strength. And just because you have never experienced something before in life does not mean that it's never going to happen. I do remember Pastor Fox mentioning that, the old folks, they can see the forest for the trees. And he said that they're already preparing. But, the younger people, they're too busy, boom, 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 bumping in their iPods and everything and playing on their cell phones and Pokemon and everything else. And he's totally on point, 100%. You're not going to get the kind of instruction that myself, Pastor Fox, and other veterans. And I'm not saying that only veterans have this type of information. What I'm saying is that we have an experience that unless you were a veteran yourself, you would not understand exactly what we're really truly saying and the passion behind why we put forth what we're saying. I am saying this though. When you see someone doing something and their preaching is backing up with what they're doing, you found somebody that has conviction, you found someone that has truth, and you found someone that really means what they says. In this walk, and including dealing with your own self, if you cannot deal and you cannot take pressure, it's not for you. I hate to say it. And when the world turns upside down, your world turns upside down, if you have not even prepared yourself because of all the things that you are fearful of doing and making moves in front of you, you're not going to handle the pressure if there is a nuclear war or a nuclear attack that comes. I'll tell you one thing. I'm so glad that 20-something years ago that I didn't follow the masses of all the people who were calling me all kind of negative and derogatory names. You should see where they're all at today. And it's something incredible to behold and see. And then you should see where I'm at today, along with the people who follow me as I follow Christ. And if you could go back 20 years ago and you could actually peer in and see how they slandered me, how they called me all kind of names, how they, you think of it, my own natural family was the first ones that gave me the attack on my side as well as my wife's side. And my only natural family that's ever stuck with me through thick and thin has been my father and my mother. And they're still with me here today on the land. And I am actually watching over them in their older age. They're 77 years old. They have their own home, their own place. And at least they know for sure they're surrounded by not only their son that loves them, but people that love them. That's all there's to it. I'm striving to prepare. I don't think that anybody can ever be 100% prepared, but I do know this. 20 years of experience has put me a whole lot farther along than your preachers and teachers out there. So what do I think about what Pastor Fox said in his video? I have nothing to add to it. He said everything that needed to be said in that video, and I think you should take heed and listen to everything he says, simply because not only is he a wise man, but he's my friend, my brother, and one of my favorite pastors. That's just the truth, and that's the truth straight way. Shalom, King coming.